What's happening, everybody? It's Troy here. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we are going to do a bloom and spike tour. I have a lot happening, a lot to show you. So grab your favorite beverage and a bag of popcorn because you are going to need it. And I'm going to give you some general updates along the way. But first, before we get into this video, if I could encourage you all to like the video, maybe subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. It would mean so much to me, and I greatly appreciate it. With that said, guys, let's get into this. All right, guys, so we are going to start this journey in the warm to hot grow space, and we're going to start with my Vandas. You guys are going to be noticing some spots where orchids that are normally there are not, such as right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. I have not gotten rid of any orchids. I have just moved them out to the greenhouse so they can get a nice chill for for the fall. So in that way they'll bloom for me probably late winter, hopefully. Well, we'll start over here with my Vanda section. This is Vanda Motes Quantum. You guys have seen her a million and one times. She's just opening for me. So we will get to see her blooms for a few weeks. This orchid blooms all the time, guys. She is fragrant. She's very vigorous. I have nothing bad to say about this orchid. And then I'm also going to have a first time bloomer. Right there is my Bangkok Sunset that I got from Moats, I don't know, a couple years back, I guess. And in the description of the orchid, it said that it would bloom in 2025. And I was bummed out this spring when it didn't bloom, but there is nonetheless a spike. I don't think you guys can see it. Oops, it might help. It's coming out of the fan right there. You might be able to. So we'll have that to look forward to. And then I moved my Tillandsia up here on top of my large Vanda. Hopefully that'll help her humidity level, but she lived on one of my mented dendrobiums. So because the dendrobium got moved outside, I had to move the Tillandsia, and I just threw it up there for now. I might actually divide the Tillandsia and then use it on several of my Vanda baskets instead of just one. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. I might just leave it like that. And then that way, when my dendrobium comes back inside, she will have her Tillandsia back. Um, Over here, we have Fang Mei Sweet. She always has a bloom for us, I feel, and she's got a couple more buds forming. So that'll be nice. And my red dragonfly is going to put out another bud by the looks of it. And this is Samara, who's also putting out another bud. And this is a wonderfully fragrant orchid. It is a cross of Violacea and Bellina. So her perfume is to die for. I highly recommend that. This spike right here is from a Phalaenopsis who has been through the ringer. I have not seen her bloom in almost 3 years. And right next to her, I have another spike coming right here. Try to move the camera. And you're thinking, what is so special about these two no ID phals that are reblooming? These are my very first two orchids. So it is very exciting after almost 3 years of setting them back repeatedly. I have finally gotten them to respike. So hopefully they will carry on through, we'll get buds, and then those buds will turn into blooms. I am dying to see what these orchids look like. I'm pretty sure that this one is yellow with a pink lip and that one is white, if I remember correctly. But they were gifted to me so long ago now that I have forgotten what they look like. And that was before I did ID tags. So nowadays I would put no ID yellow with pink lip or something like that. Back then I threw away all of my garden tags. So and then over here we have Equestris. I love this orchid because she'll just keep elongating her spike and give us blooms repeatedly. My only complaint is she's not fragrant, but she's a really petite size, so perfect for indoors growing. You could grow her outdoors too, but it's just a wonderful proliferous orchid to have in bloom. Um, and then down here, I have Tiny Twister. Come on, camera, do your thing. Beautifully burgundy, deep colored blooms, not fragrant, but very cute, dainty blooms nonetheless. And then Antonetum is in bloom, but also she's putting a spike, and I'm probably gonna have to move her down a shelf because that spike is gonna grow right up into the Bruno grow lights and singe my buds. So I will move her down a shelf. I have the open availability now that I don't have my Nobile down there. And then we have this Anobi purple. This is the splash variety. And she is also putting out another spike. So her blooms will be extended. Hibiki is right next door, opening up new buds as of this morning. That was a cluster last night, so that's nice. She has just done that. She's just continuously put out all these clusters of blooms throughout the whole grow season. So we started out with just a few, and now, I mean, I have a bushel of blooms on this orchid. So it's pretty exciting. I finally got my epidendrum. This is Rose Valley by Comet Valley, still unregistered years later. But I finally have got her into lava rock. So I actually was expecting her to stop producing buds, but no, she hasn't slowed down in the slightest. So that makes me very happy. I did not want to set her back. She's known for giving me a bunch of blooms starting early in spring and going all the way until late fall. And then right next door, I still have this Dendrobium blue seas. And Blue Seas is putting out two new spikes for us. Deliciously fragrant, very similar to the Antonetum, but it's a little bit sweeter. So Antonetum, if you don't have it, smells very lemongrassy. This has that, but it's almost like somebody took lemongrass and mixed it with powdered sugar. So it's just sweet lemongrass, essentially. Nonetheless, I enjoy fragrance. That's always a sell point to me. You can see right there's another spike, and right there is another spike. So, very excited about that. Speaking about spikes, I also have not one, but two spikes on Roy Takanaga. So this is the regular variety. I used to have the Semi Alba. It was actually the first orchid that I killed. Um, I instead of having it in a 3-inch pot, potted it in a 6-inch pot full of sphagnum moss, chopped all the old roots off, and expected that orchid to take off and flourish, and it just kept declining, and I couldn't figure out why. So beginner mistakes, rookie mistakes, whatever you want to call it. Now I have that experience, and I don't make that choice anymore. I choose more appropriate potting media such as lava rock and smaller pots, and dendrobiums ever since have been quite easy for me to cultivate. I'm gonna swivel around without making you all sick. All right, nothing on this bottom shelf. We do have Brabantier back in bloom. Wonderful primary hybrid is also deliciously fragrant and just a wonderful, vigorous orchid. I love this orchid. Now, I love Cattleyas, and I'm always going to be partial to white Cattleyas, but this might be in my top favorites. There's a picture on my Instagram of when I very first got this division, and she just looked pitiful. And I never would have thought that an orchid this beautiful, these gorgeous blooms would come out of an orchid that looked so rough to begin with. My Arangus fatuosa, after 10 months, has aborted her spike, so we will not see her bloom. I am excited. CM White, the best, is in sheath for the first time, so that'll be exciting. Up here, I have this wonderful, this is a Wyanite leopard crossed onto a why not. And she's already bloomed for me just a few months ago, maybe not even a few months ago, maybe it was just last month. But then she had a new growth and put out a new spike, and I've noticed another new growth coming. So we will probably have another show on her. That's wonderful. Blooms keep me very happy, and we could use that going into the fall and winter months. It's my least favorite time of the year. So blooms right now are really helpful to have around. And this is my Valentine. I'm gonna have to put her name on the screen because I think that's her cultivar name. Maybe it's Paradise Rose, My Valentine, something like that. We'll get it on the screen for you. She bloomed earlier this year with three blooms, and then this is her second blooming of the year. She was going to have two buds, but the first bud blasted before it even had the chance to really start developing. So unfortunately, we just get one bloom for now. Up here, I don't have a lot happening, but I do have this big, nice sheath that is starting to fatten up, and this is on Easter Glory. I snagged this at a Waldorf auction, and it was a good thing that eBay ended the bidding when they did. It was starting to get a little hot and heavy, but nonetheless, I got Easter Glory. I'm super excited to have it in my collection. I always enjoy buying plants from Waldorf. They have some great Cattleyas, and that is my love language, especially a white Cattleya. Over here, I have a first time bloomer. This is Purpurata variety Vaucalcy, and just look at the lip. So much detail. This orchid is fragrant. My son is like on top of the house right now, so I don't know when we get to the bedroom if there'll be sufficient sunlight yet, but we're gonna try anyway. In the morning, when the sun is bright on this side of the house, she is fragrant and she smells like Fruit Loops. So I really didn't think that she would smell identical to Fruit Loops, but she does nonetheless. I just love that lip. Very nice first blooming. I'm not disappointed in the slightest. I do have a sheath here, and this is my golf green, but I have jade lace. I don't have the hair pig. I have jade lace. So we will see if anything gets produced with this sheath. And then right next to her, I have another sheath coming, and this is Momolani Rainbow. Orchids by Brian. That this orchid right here is his fault. So if you're watching, Brian, thank you. I added that to my collection after seeing yours that you picked up from Waldorf. So I decided I had to have it. And then I also am going to have a first time bloomer. You can see right there. I have buds on this sheath, and I have what looks to be two in this sheath. So this is Maxima. And you guys are probably thinking, didn't we just see your maximum bloom? Yes, you did. But I have two varieties. This is my lowland variety. So this is going to be a beast of a plant. This is still a very young plant. And I picked it up from Waldorf. And it is, who are you? I'm cheating. Sorry, guys. It is, all right. Well, my other tag, that's not what I thought it was. Okay, okay. I thought it was Steve Christopherson by Francis. It is. Okay, they just abbreviated his last name. I see what they did. Okay. So this is Steve Christopherson by Francisco. Two beautiful, more concolor variety of Maxima. So anyway, enough rambling about an orchid that is not in bloom, but I'm very, very, very excited nonetheless. I had this growth happen, I don't know, in July, and then this one started developing through the whole month of September. So I've just been waiting for a minute to see this bloom, and I'm very excited. I don't have anything happening on this shelf unless if Brazilian Jewel decides to do something with her new growth. I'm not holding my breath there. I will let you guys have a look. my bulbo, I don't know if you can see, I have all of those little buds starting all around my orchid. And this will be my first time blooming this plant. I do not think, however, that this is the first time this orchid has bloomed. I was going to repot her, and I'm happy that I didn't. I came over here to water and I saw all these little buds peeking up, and I was like, well, I guess I will just repot you in the spring. So we'll have a show coming soon on her. And then look, I have a habenaria that is going to be in bud soon. I have already started reducing my irrigation to this plant. And to be perfectly honest, I'm probably not going to water her again for a while because the last year I had a habenaria right about this stage and I watered her and blasted her whole entire spike, her buds, everything. And I never got to see that orchid bloom. And then Hawaiian leopard is starting to go out. This was a first time blooming, so I'm very pleased to have about 4 weeks now of a bloom. And then over here, Dendrobium nubarana, still putting out more spikes, guys. I have one coming there. Oh, I just watered her and I saw another one coming. Well, it doesn't matter. We have this that just opened. I have this that just opened. This is in bud, getting ready to open. We have this spike there. And I had an orchid fall on her. So I have a cutting of her flowers downstairs in a vase of water. I still also have Aradane Green, who just smells like orchid, which is crazy to me because I have a few Denphals and none of them are fragrant. This one is. She has a beautiful pink center. And then over here, Dawn Herman. Dawn Herman is the one who fell. So Dawn is still in sphagnum moss, complete sphagnum moss setup. That was my original setup. And Dawn does not produce roots until after she has bloomed. So when Dawn Herman's finished blooming, I will get this into lava rock because I cannot stand staking my orchids and I cannot stand when they are lightweight. And sphagnum moss is like dominoes. If you have 10 orchids that are all in moss and you knock one over, they're all going down. Which is nice about lava rock and leca. I don't have that problem anymore. And I really don't have the need to stake my orchids anymore either. It's wonderful. And then I have Brassivola Little Stars is putting out a spike for us. So I just repotted it and I don't know what happened. I lost a bunch of leaves. Like she was not happy with the repot. And I didn't think that I would get a spike this year. I figured she would bloom maybe next spring or later. So I'm very, very excited to have that coming back. This orchid is so fragrant. It's almost like having a nodosa. Now, it is a primary hybrid. It does have nodosa in it, but the fragrance is identical to nodosa. And then I have Fire Dance Patricia has got a sheath there. And I have bud development happening on Lustrous Jade. This will be a first time bloomer, so hopefully we get to see some beautiful green blooms. Rustic Spots is back in bloom. Mine is not fragrant. People have said that theirs is fragrant, and I'm highly jealous. Oh, and my habenaria that I got from Rusty Exotics is up here. This is the division. Sorry, I've got that for sale, so it's in here for safekeeping until somebody buys it. But this habenaria is a bog habenaria and is a primary hybrid that I got from Rusty Exotics earlier this year. And it just keeps growing. It's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I've started calling it Pisa, but it just put out that leaf and now it's putting this one out. And I have not had this orchid very long. So this is a quick grower. And then up here, I have Patinera. Nope, I need your tag because I've already told you guys wrong. All right, well, we're just gonna look at that bloom while I have her down here. I told you guys wrong, and I actually have to re-upload the video and make an apology post because I told you all that this was Hawaiian Thrill Paradise, and it is not. This is Chief Orange Sweet Orange, or Chief Sweet Orange. I'll put the name on the screen. I don't want to mess it up a second time. So I apologize for that. Beautifully fragrant. It is like orange blossoms and gardenia are sitting side by side in a garden. I love the fragrance on that orchid. I wasn't expecting it to have that gardenia after tone to it because that's usually reserved for white orchids. And it's probably the reason why I like them so much. Carrying on with this shelf though, I have key lime stars back in bloom. Nodosa fragrance, nighttime fragrant as well, but not as strong as my little stars or my Nodosa. And then back there, I have Potnera Fairyland. I'm not moving her up front until her buds are completely open. And this was a first time bloomer. This is Cattleya Canhamiana Azure Sky. And this is a primary hybrid of Mossier and Purpurata. Now it smells very, very similar to Purpurata, but more sophisticated, more deep. And the smell matches the bloom. It smells exactly how it looks it should smell, if that makes any sense. Up here, I have some sheaths, but nothing happening as of yet. And I'm waiting for new roots. I'm actually going to leave. This was a new acquisition that I got um, last month at the Orchid Society show. And so as soon as I get new roots, I'm going to put her into like one of these pots, one of my white pots, but I'm going to keep it hanging up there. I really like having her hanging. So I'm going to keep her hanging up there. My insects, I was nervous that she wasn't getting enough light because if you look at Andy's growth and then you look at mine, they just seem so elongated. I thought maybe this work is not giving enough light, which is crazy because it's directly below the lamp. But I was looking and I have sheaths. So it must be getting enough light to produce sheaths, right? I hope. And then this will be a first time bloomer on Super Waxy Red. And then down here, my Jamelia looks so sad, guys. She got attacked by spider mites, and that allowed a fungal or bacterial spotting. It looks awful, but she has 3 spikes coming. I keep Physanning her once a week, and it's helped, but I would just like her to go back to looking to normal. And then Angrecum didideri, beautiful nighttime fragrance. It's a nice compact orchid. You could easily cultivate this in the house, and it is super, super tough. So if you're just going into the world of Angrecums, I'd recommend this for sure. And then over here, this is going to be a first time bloomer, and this is Prostechia levita. She is an import. I believe she comes from Bella Vista. Is that where I got you? I forget. I know she's from Brazil though. So very, very excited about that. And then down here, I have, I don't know if you can see it, but right there, I have a spike developing. And right there, I have a spike developing. And then I've noticed a little bump on this orchid right here on this side. So hopefully we will have some Cycnodes bloom soon. And then I do have, hopefully, another orchid that is going to be going there. My jumbo Cooper has been living out in the greenhouse, and I was going to bring her in today, but I noticed some suspicious spots on her pseudobulb, her newest growth. So I have her quarantined away from everyone, and I treated her with some Physan and cinnamon, and hopefully that will reverse whatever is going on with her pseudobulb. So I'm happy I caught that sooner rather than later. Oh, we also have over here Luceri. Lucernary is deliciously fragrant and very easy to grow in the house because it is super compact. But that's what I have going on in my warm to hot grow space. And if you guys give me just 1 second, we'll shimmy over to the bedroom orchids and then we'll just carry on and go right downstairs into my cool grow space. So hold on just 1 second, guys. All right, guys, we have made it to the bedroom orchids real quick because I know Miss Paula is more than likely watching and I know that she's already seen this frag. So if you guys remember, this is my birthday frag. Here, let's zoom in. Oh no, I was zoomed in. Um, this was my birthday frag and it is so large and looks so good. Well, now is in two pieces. I had to cut the rhizome, and the reason being is the other side, so there's another piece, and I'll show you downstairs. The middle fan just started getting orange rot, like how an oncidium would. So I don't know if there's some moisture down in the bract when it was traveling, but I didn't want to risk it because this is a very special plant. This came from Miss Paula for my birthday from a nursery that is starting to get rid of plants because they're going to be closing down. So this is super, super, super special plant for many reasons. And I didn't want to risk losing it. So I pulled it out. I assessed the plant. There was a natural divide of the rhizome because it had a big, long rhizome that went underneath in the potting mix. And so I just let it divide naturally there. I looked, there was no funky ring around it or anything like that. So thank goodness for that. And then I just put this piece back up here, back in the same potting mix. And the other piece I put in the same potting mix in a different pot. It has more air circulation. Um, and I was able to remove that middle fan and I just doused it in cinnamon. So I think, I pray, fingers crossed, that both pieces make it. Um, That'd be fantastic. Because then that way, if, you know, God forbid one didn't make it in the future, I have a second plant to fall back on. So I'm so sorry, Miss Paula. I don't know what happened, but I assessed it and did what I thought needed to be done in that moment. So hopefully my quick action will pay off in the long run. Fingers crossed, I pray. I really, truly love this plant. I don't want to see anything happen to it. So I think this piece truly is safe. The other piece, I am not going to say anything for a few weeks longer just in case. But I wanted to say something now in case any of my viewers saw or Miss Paula saw, somebody saw and wanted to know what was up with my frag. There you have it, guys. And then we have Lemon Heart in bloom. Well, opening blooms. She's just cascading so high. This orchid would be phenomenal if it had a fragrance, but it does not. It does, however, have the cutest little pink. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but right here on both sides of the petal, it has the tiniest little pink spotting. No, my camera has the worst time picking up yellow blooms. Yellow and alba blooms are the hardest for me to film. And then right behind it, I have the Gyrock fragrance. So that's going to be very delicious whenever she opens. It is a chocolate scented oncidium. We all love chocolate oncidiums. I can't talk today, guys. I'm sorry. And then here we have it, guys. This is Jerry and Richard. Now, I wanted Cattleya drumbeat forever, and I could not find it. And so, when I saw Hauserman had this available, and that drumbeat was one of the parents of this orchid, I decided I would take a chance, and I'm happy I did because just look at how big those blooms are. And she's just opening. They'll bush out some more. And she also has more buds coming. I think there's two more coming out of that. So I will be very excited to see her in full bloom. Hopefully her two blooms that are just now opening hang on for the other two to open. And then I also have, this is Burkadin Wonder Lakeland, who's in sheath, but nothing's actively happening. Back here, I have, oh, they're right there at the top. So I have buds getting ready to pop on Shinafat Diamond. And then over here, I have Cattleya Old Whitey, who has buds developing in the sheath, but they're still in low sheath. So that will probably be a few more weeks before she opens all the way. But I am very excited about Jerry and Richard. And then I have this No ID fowl still blooming. She's actually putting out another spike. And then the No ID right next to her is putting out another spike. So she has already bloomed twice this year for me. This will be the third spike. I have no idea what her identification is in the slightest, other than she is gorgeous. She's not fragrant, but her blooms are so beautiful, I don't even mind. And then the other side, I don't have anything blooming yet. So we can just head on down to the cooler grow spaces. I don't want this video to be any longer than it has to be. So give me 1 second, guys, and we will meet in the cool grow space. Before we jump into my cooler grow space, I wanted to show you guys real quick where I put my dendrobiums. So this is Dendrobium aphyllum, and then Horatii. This is a cross. It is Naford's Quest, and then my Nobile and Lindley. And then that is a beautiful cross called Country Girl that came from Carmela. So I put all these guys out here in hopes that they can get down into the 40s and that chill will encourage them to bloom. So I am hoping, my goal is to keep these guys out here until the middle of November. So hopefully that will happen, fingers crossed. And now we can get into the cooler grow space, but I just wanted to show you guys my setup for my dendrobiums. And these guys, I wrap burlap around these mounts because they're bare rooted in my grow space, which has phenomenal humidity. And though Kentucky does have wonderful humidity, this time of the year it tends to drop. So I just wanted to protect my roots, and then I'll come out every day and mist these guys with a light little misting of water to simulate the morning dew. So now we can go check out my cool growing orchids. All right, so we have made it to the cooler grow space. My Grammatophyllum actually lives down here during the winter months. I just brought her in from outdoors, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. She doesn't really like to go much below 60, and there was a couple of nights it dipped into the 50s. So I just said, I'll bring her in for the winter and she'll be kicked back out in the spring. And then those are the den foul blooms that I told you I broke off. And then this is the other part. This is the back part. So this leaf might senesce on us, but it was this fan right in between these two that had that orange rot or whatever. So I went ahead and got it out, and then I packed cinnamon in there, and I think the rest is going to be okay. This new growth hasn't shown any signs of aborting. This other fan appears to be okay. So only time will tell, but hopefully it pulls through and does fine, and then we have two plants and double the amount of blooms. And then if you guys notice over here, I have some Nepenthes. And these guys just came over from my other window. And then over here is a Hoya that I brought in from outdoors for the winter. And this is the Rosellii right here that I got from Anna Vogue or Gia. Um, so yeah, That's that. I have this zygo over here who's putting out a whole bunch of new growth, but no signs of buds. So that's unfortunate. And then my cymbidium that I repotted is over here just flourishing. So I'm super excited about that. We're going to pivot and hopefully I don't make anybody motion sick. Over here, this Propetalum, La Joya Delight. Beautiful fragrance on this orchid. It is spicy, it's cinnamony, it's delicious. I love when this orchid blooms for her fragrance alone. And then I have a Cattleya dormaniana. And this will be a first time bloomer. I'm super excited. I got this from Waldor and it was quoted 1 to 2 years for blooming. And this is 7 months after purchase. So thank you, Waldor. Very vigorous plant. And then I'm going to have a first time bloomer on apricot sunshine. And then this brassavola right here is in sheath. And I think I'll have a sheath over here on this Laelia. And aside from that, I don't think I have any blooms or anything coming from over there. I still have this Norita chip in bloom. She smells delicious. She blooms a lot. She's compact for a dendrobium. See, she sits on my mantle. I would say we're probably with pot and everything 14 to 15 inches. So very compact for a dendrobium. Forbesii is still in all of her glory. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting her to be a little bit more bronze as she faded out, um, because her cultivar is bronze. So I was expecting that, but that's fine. It might be because I grow her in cooler temperatures. Couldn't tell you. And then I have a spike coming on um, Sogo Vivian. Yes. Sogo Vivian. I moved her over here. She was under brighter light, and I noticed like her variegation was starting to fade compared to previous leaves. And one of my friends who grows houseplants is like, put her in lower light for the variegation to come out. So I trust my friend. We'll see. It's probably true. And then, who are you? Snow Charm, I believe, is putting out another spike. I don't really cut my spikes. I let them senesce naturally because there are nutrients that they can pick up. There's a lot of potassium in their spikes. So I just leave them. I let them senesce naturally. And if they don't senesce naturally, then I just leave them. Um, Signature Bluebird. This is Zygonesia. She is starting to bump up right there. I didn't know if she'd bloom because I just repotted her. She seems to be taking to the leca and self-watering very well. I'm having, the more I work with this medium, the better I guess I get at it because my most recent transplants into leca and self-watering have just went in there and taken off so much better than my previous transitions. So I must be doing something right. She has gone into leca and self-watering and just taken off in it. I have a collagenea that I got over the summer having the same results. It seems to be all these newer ones are just really taking off. So I'm starting to get the hang of it, I think, and that's why. I don't know. I'm very happy that she took off in it though. This is Hawaiiara lava burst. She had two big spikes, and then she always does this. She'll put out another little branch right before the other ones get ready to drop off. So I'll get to enjoy these blooms for a little while longer. And then Anthera Gold just started opening. Not fragrant, but beautiful yellow. I love how it has the white lip. And then right behind it, welcome back, Cochleanthes. And this is aromatica, excuse me. And she smells so good. It is like a mixture of vanilla and then the most subtle hint of jasmine. I love how her lip is nice and purple and it has the creamy, frilly lip, like the edges are frilly and creamy. And then this part right here is a nice chartreuse. She is in leca and self-watering, and this orchid does not like to dry out in the slightest. And what do you think I did? I dried her out, guys. On total accident. I must have skipped over her pot last week when I was watering by accident. I don't know, but she was completely dry. This orchid hates to be completely dry. So I'm happy I caught that before she decided to abort her bloom. I moved my Masdevallia up here. This is Gutata, fragrant. They said lightly fragrant. No, that was a lie. She is heavily fragrant, smells just like Antonetum. I moved her up here because I want to get a nice short video of her, but I keep missing the opportunity. So I moved her up here in hopes that I would see it, show her off a little bit too, but in hopes that I would see it and get her out for a video. So I'll get that done today. And then we have a spike coming, and this is Franz Jewel 64. Beautiful burgundy bloom. She has been in my collection for a while. Her and however Lava Burst were the first two oncidiums to come into my collection. Siku Marguerite in all of her glory soon enough. And then this is Pleurophthalus separapedioides. She just keeps extending all of her blooms, guys. Wonderful, wonderful orchid. They dubbed her the fuzzy toilet bowl orchid. And after looking at her blooms, I'm sure you can come to your own conclusions. And we still have this beautiful Dendrobium sorolla in bloom. And then I moved my Equensis over so that way I could make room for Gia sent me a Restrepia, so I put her back there. And then I have more blooms. This is Vibra Bowery. And then Aaliyah Lynn. Oh, just opened this. That wasn't open last night. So that's cool. And then she has one more bud coming. I put my foul down here so that way I can put the Masdevallia up top. But I will switch them back around as soon as my Masdevallia Gutata is done blooming. I have a spike right here, and this is Onolicious Vivid. And she looks similar to Nellie Idler. Miss Paula made that connection, and I have never unseen it ever since she made it. And then I have another spike progressing. This is Dracula Rio Machangara. And then over here, I have Raven Jet is almost there, guys. So hopefully 1, 2, 3 buds will all open. Fingers crossed. This will be a first time bloomer. So I'm very, very excited. This is supposed to be a jet black bloom. I love black. It's probably my favorite color. So to have it on orchid blooms, that's pretty awesome. Over here, Soko Yellowtris is opening. Every time she opens, she gets more pink. So when I first got her, she was more yellow. Would you focus? There we go. She was more yellow and less pink, and now she's doing the exact reverse of that. Don't know. Pretty nonetheless. I think that's all. I have all these African violets that are taking off. We'll skim over them. This cute little mini. This right here, this African violet is awesome. She is what got me into the Russian and Ukrainian hybrids. And there's just something so special about them that have roughly edges to their blooms. I don't know. If they had fragrance, it would be creme de la creme. I absolutely love this African violet. And then this is the Rhine Moonlight. This is the chloric variety, and she blooms quite frequently. She's a vigorous plant. So hopefully we will see her soon. And this is the Zygonesia from Sunset Valley Orchids that Gia gifted me. So I put her right over here with all the other Zygos. And I hope that now that I've gotten better growing in LECA and self-watering setup, that I can keep the foliage on this one better than I did on the other two. Setting goals for myself. And then, of course, my dog is always with me everywhere I go. Over here. So these two are why the two Nepenthes are in the other window. These are two collagenes. So I'm pretty sure I did the unboxing of Janine Banks with you guys over the summer and you got to see her. I got this orchid because of Hello Plant Lovers. He has Janine Banks and he said that she will bloom multiple times a year. So I went ahead and picked up Janine Banks, and then I got Collagenea cristata for my birthday, and this is variety Grandifloria. And I was not going to repot her until the spring, but her potting media, I couldn't handle it, guys. It had moss and tree fern fiber together, and it had broken down, and it had that odor that organic media gets to it when it starts breaking down. And I was not getting ready to do that all winter long. So into LECA and self-watering she went. Hopefully she will take to it and do okay. I really didn't want to repot her until spring, but such is life. Then this fowl has already branched out and done her bloom, her second show for the year. Down here, I have a tangerine fire. This is a mini cat, and she is coming into bud. And I also put a bulbophyllum daisy chain over here that Gia got me and LECA and self-watering. And my Lycaste is starting to go dormant for the winter. So I've already reduced my watering on this orchid. And then this is Zygopetalum Aladdin. Super fragrant. Just a delicious fragrance on this orchid. And then right in front of her, I have the Phalaenopsis surf song going into bud. So we do have some more blooms coming, guys, and I'm very excited for everything that we've had and for everything that we're getting ready to have. But that is what I have for you all. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. I'm going to try and put together a video that was requested of my problem orchids and what I'm doing to troubleshoot them. So I will try to get that video out for you guys next week. So stay tuned for more details. Thank you guys, and y'all take care.